morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, and we've got another Pokemon VMAX that we need to be talking about. And it's another Pokemon that I probably wouldn't have picked as one of the next to get a VMAX. It's Aegislash. I know. Was not expecting an Aegislash V and VMAX in the near future, but we've gone and got one, and I tell you what, this one could be a little bit of fun. Now, our translations, of course, come from the lovely Antoine Boulet, and if we start off having a look at the Pokemon V here, we got 210 HP, which is fine, but not spectacular. A retreat cost of 3, which puts you in that awkward middle ground before free retreat with air balloon and extra HP with buff padding. Now, obviously, as a basic, you can use Cape of Toughness, but of course, that's not going to work very well after you VMAX. So that's all, honestly, kind of annoying. Then we've got a resistance to grass, which we do like. Resistance is always good. Maybe Zarude decks end up being good when they come out. They might be. And then you've got a weakness to fire, which, because of all those welder decks running around, is not great. I mean, Centiskor's one of the top decks in the format right now. So basically, the stats here aren't looking amazing. Now, you are a metal Pokemon, which means if you're worried about those fire Pokemon, you can always play that Bronzong from Team Up, which made a bit of a splash in the Players' Cup. It means you can use Metal Goggles to reduce damage done to you. It means you can use Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack to reduce damage done to you. And actually, you can do quite well here, just in terms of, you know, being a bit beefy. So that's kind of nice. But what does it actually do, apart from hitting nothing relevant for weakness? Well, 2 energy, 50 damage. Let's not spend a huge amount of time on that attack. It is... Why does it have to be 2 energy? Now, one of the cards I didn't mention for Metal Pokemon was Metal Saucer. That will attach an energy from your discard to a bench Metal Pokemon. And then you got Turbo Patch, which will do basically the same thing on a coin flip to basic Pokemon. Any basic energy, but it is on a coin flip, which is kind of sad. And that's alright, so we've got ways of getting the energy on, but why 50 damage? Like, in what way are we supposed to get excited about 50 damage? I mean, on the one hand, it will get Snom, but then again, if you did 30, that would get Snom, because Snom is weak to metal. It will get Frostmoth, I'll give you this. It will get Frostmoth, which is using a bunch of water decks to accelerate energy, because they've got 90 HP and you're hitting 50, which is doubled to 100. Outside of that, this is a very vanilla kind of attack. If it was single energy, I could get a little bit more on top of this, in favor of this, call it what you will, because at least then I could go second and turn 1, use this because I've only got 1 energy on the field. But if you're asking me to have to accelerate an energy and still only give me 50 damage, I am not going to be very excited about it. But Aegislash V does have a second attack, which will hopefully be a little bit better. 1 metal, 1 colorless energy, 130 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And this is a whole bunch better. This is a phenomenal attack, which we are absolutely going to love. Because the fact of the matter is, at the moment, there are a bunch of Pokemon out there that are going to be trying to block us, and this attack will get right through them. Something like a Decidueye, for instance. It's going to be coming along and it's going to be all like, ha ha ha, I've got an ability which means I'm immune to attacks from Pokemon Vs and VMAXs, and you're going to be like, ha 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 ha, I'm hitting 130. Now, you are 10 damage short of a KO, but we do have Vitality Band, and do remember that there is that Galarian Berserker that can be played with all of these metal decks that will let you do an extra 20 damage on your attacks. That is kind of cool and should be encouraged. And do remember we did get that Galarian Meowth as well, which will let you search it out, which makes it far more consistent than it would otherwise be. And so that's good. So it means you're going through Decidueye, which is kind of awesome. It means if your opponent is trying to play an Obstagoon to block your attacks because you're a basic Pokemon, you can go right through that, though again, you are a little bit shy of a KO. Berserker and Vitality Band will do it, but we're getting into awkward territory. But the thing we need to remember here is that one of the tools that we've had revealed from this set is Memory Capsule. And Memory Capsule lets Pokemon use the attacks of their previous evolutions, which means after UV Max, you are still going to be able to use this attack. So something like a Zamazenta, which is coming in blocking VMAXs, not if you've got this tool attached, and then you're getting a nice 2-hit KO. Though obviously you cannot play this and Vitality Band at the same time, that would be silly. They are both Pokemon tools. So here, this is a spectacularly useful attack for Decidueye, for Obstagoon, for Zamazenta, for any Pokemon which is trying to block basic Pokemons, or Pokemons, that's not how we say it, or Vs, or I tell my wife off for that all the time, and she continually says it just to annoy me. I'll try and be better. Pokemon Vs, Pokemon VMAXs, anything that's trying to block you, you can go through it, and that's kind of beautiful and lovely and amazing and awesome and wonderful. So that's quite nice. So we've got a really useful attack on the Pokemon V, but we've also got a really useful attack on the Pokemon V Max. Now if we start off with the stats here, 320 HP is high but not spectacular. Retreat cost to 3 is as annoying as it was before. Resistance to grass is as nice as it was before. Weakness to fire is as annoying as it was before. And we've got all the same metal tricks that we mentioned before. But what we do have here is one new attack. 1 metal, 1 colourless, 160 damage, plus 30 more damage for each prize card that you've already taken. Oh, that's a lot of damage. I mean, if you've taken 5 prize cards, that's 150. Added to the 160 base is 310. That's pretty much the max KOing territory. It will get all the attack teams, which is kind of lovely. But the thing to remember here is you've got stuff like Galarian Berserker, 2 Galarian Berserker, and you're up to 350, and that'll one-hit KO anything, even an Eternatus V Max. And I know that you've taken 5 prizes and you've got to have 2 Galarian Berserker out is not exactly the easiest attack to do, but then by the same token, you're KOing a V Max and winning the game, so that's alright. One of the annoying things here, of course, is that you need to do more damage to take out 2 and 3 prize Pokemon, but you do the most damage when you've got 1 prize remaining, so you're often going to overprize here, but that's not really the end of the world. This isn't a phenomenal early game Pokemon, and you're not hitting much for weakness. Maybe if Gardevoir ends up being quite good in the future, we can work with this, but the reality is this is not hitting much for weakness. Honestly, this is a sweeper. It's the end of the game and I need to get something rolling here. That's where we're going. And I tell you what, I'm cool with this. This is fine by me. This is a nice attack. You've got Turbo Patch to accelerate energy before you VMAX, don't try it after. You've got Metal Saucer to accelerate energy before or after you VMAX, either will do. So again, in terms of getting the energy on here, I don't think we're going to be struggling all that much. And then, of course, you're probably playing this with stuff like Zacian, and you can use Energy Switch and all of that to start moving the energy around. So I'm not worried about the energy cost here. And honestly, this is a better metal version of Dubwool V. Dubwool V for free colourless energy does 120. Plus 30 for each prize card your opponent has taken, and this does 160 plus 30 for each prize card that you have taken. Now, of course, the big damage here is, or the big difference, is that Reset Stamp and Double's a great combo. Your opponent's got 1 prize remaining, you're hitting 270, so you drop a Reset Stamp, hope your opponent draws nothing, and sweep with Dubwool. Similar kind of thing going on here. Now, admittedly, it is predicated on your prizes, not your opponents, so maybe calling it a better version is not entirely fair, but it is still a very good, nice, competent version, and it does a bunch of damage. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of the time, we've all had those games where you got 1 or 2 prizes left, but your opponent has just put something up that you cannot KO. Zacian does not one-hit KO an Eternatus V Max. It doesn't one-hit KO an Arceus and Dialga and Palkia, etc. This does. Or can. And that's kind of the difference for me here. And the thing I really love about Aegislash is the attack of the V. Now, you might end up wanting to use Memory Capsule so you can use it with the VMAX, but when you're combining an attack that can take out all of those pesky Pokemon that are trying to block you out of the game with a really nice late game sweep attack, that makes Aegislash a really, really interesting VMAX to me, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a probably overly generous 4 Wassies. Does feel slightly high, but I've said it now and I'm going to stick with it. I do like this VMAX, and I don't know if it's going to be a deck in and of itself. I do think this is going to be the kind of deck which is played with Zacian, with Zamazenta, etc. But we've got those really good Pokemon, so what's the problem? But this brings you 2 attacks that the other Pokemon don't have, and for that, I like it rather a lot indeed. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, or you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.